kind of a late pre-show. We're live now. It's kind of a late pre-show. I'm gonna go ahead and share out. You guys go ahead and share out.
It's late pre-show.
We're doing the Geekterion Collection. Aliens. That's Eli's pick. Unfortunately, Eli is not here yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. It's a great choice, though.
Fantastic choice. I would have picked it myself, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It was coming. It's coming. It's a very apropos movie to talk about.
I'm glad he chose that. I pretty much knew that's the movie he was going to choose.
Yeah, I think we had talked about it. Because we talked about whether it was going to be Alien or Aliens.
Oh, Aliens.
Oh, it's Aliens.
Yeah. Eli. Hey, Ida.
Hey.
We're live right now. We're waiting on Leroy. He had to go to the store.
He's at the stove.
The stove.
But we can do our regular pre-show shit. We do have a top 5 coming up in a week from today. I made a little ad. I love this.
Man, look at you actually doing shit now.
My favorite. I know, look at me doing stuff, doing work, putting in effort. So I messed up that transition, but oh well, it's just a commercial. Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing that next Tuesday, right here where you're watching this. Top 5 Star Wars. It's basically just us ranking our favorite Star Wars movies. I don't have, just spoiler alert, I don't have any of the sequel trilogy in my top 5, but I haven't rewatched them yet. I'm rewatching
Oh, I do.
Context. But I
have at least one.
I've decided, and again, this is a little bit of a spoiler.
I think
New Hope is like fucking trash, dude. I understand where it sits. I know. Look at you.
I'm just gonna say this. You're so far off on this because, as much as I don't like New Hope, none of the prequel movies are in my top 5, and you have the audacity to say one of the prequel movies is in your top 5, Gomer.
2 of them.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I know.
I can see one being in somebody's top 5.
You didn't pick a single sequel trilogy, and you picked 2 prequel movies? I don't know you, man. I don't know you. I don't know you like that. I'm not even a Star Wars guy, and I'm disgusted at that.
So again, we're gonna do that next week, a week from today.
Yeah, I ain't getting any prequels.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No prequel movies are in my list. None.
Wow. See, I knew this was gonna be a great list to do, even though it sounds just ridiculous.
I mean, technically, there's a prequel movie.
It's gonna be lots of fun just dunking on you the entire podcast.
Man,
I know, man. So shit,
dude. Dude, I need you to go ahead and get a Song of the South sound.
I don't like it.
Because if you're gonna pick anything in the prequel trilogy, all I can compare.
Because it's racist. Come on.
Because it's absurdly racist.
I think it's accidentally racist.
Nope, not in 1999.
That's America. America's accidentally racist. All the time.
I sound like fucking MAGA when I say that.
Yeah,
accidentally racist.
Accidentally racist. Yeah.
He didn't mean to.
He didn't mean to master Jedi.
No, dude. Like I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I'll let go of Jar Jar Binks, but the Trade Federation sounding Japanese and building robots is too far.
Yeah,
it's too far. There's no way. There's no way that was an accident.
That's a new one. I haven't heard.
You didn't know that? You didn't know? That's the first thing about that movie I saw as a kid. I was like taken aback by. Oh, it's like, oh shit, they build robots and they have those Japanese accents with the sideways eyes. I was dead.
Oh my God.
We didn't get to Jar Jar. My dad and I were like, we gotta get the fuck out of this. This is way too racist for little kids to watch right now. And we left.
So look for that next week. That should be fun. I'm just gonna shut up the whole fucking time because my list is trash.
I can't wait for that one.
So yeah, that's the 26th again, a week from today. It might change. My list may change.
It's fucking better.
Before then. But yeah, that's all we got right now. Leroy's pick for Geekterion Collection is up next in February. It'll probably be a couple of weeks before we get that. And then we need to decide what we're going to do for our next top 5. It's probably going to be like comic book creator or something.
I thought we were going to do runs or some shit.
Runs.
Yeah, we can do comic book
sounds like a great idea.
That's cool.
That's a lot of fun.
All right, let's do, I think this is the right. This is the right one. Class A as fuck. Get out your monocle polish, everybody. We're talking about cinema. Real cinema. None of this MCU.
Say that, but we're
that's
probably going to
funny.
have an MCU movie in this eventually.
Oh, eventually we'll have to.
Yeah.
There's at least two that I think are going to hear. Anyway, greetings, geeks. Welcome back to the Geekterion Collection, the best of the best of the best of geek cinema. I'm your co-host Gomer, Adam Normal, Jules True. From over there at the Comic Book Bullies, we got Eli. I don't know where Leroy is. Fashionably late.
Leroy's at the stove.
He's at the stove. Fashionably late as always. So yeah, I guess we can just bust into it. Again, the best of the best of the best of geek
That's awesome.
cinema. And this one's all about aliens. Aliens. Eli's taking over here in a minute. But
Okay.
Aliens
Your
is
pick.
1986.
Your pick, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
American science fiction action horror.
Y'all can just leave and I'll just speak for the whole.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
for real, you probably
This
could.
is a good one too. This is a really
Yeah.
good one.
Written and directed by the great James Cameron, the only director with 2 of the top 5 biggest movies of all time.
Mhm.
Say what you want about Titanic.
The only
From the
one who's
moment,
been to the Mariana Trench all by himself.
all by himself. Just
All
could you
by
imagine?
himself.
I mean, he was literally further away from another person than like astronauts on the International Space Station are far away from people. I mean, that's just amazing to me. But anyway, Titanic is one of the best movies ever after they fuck in that car. From the moment after they
I've never
bang in
made
the
it that
car,
far. I've never made it that far.
It's an
It is pretty
amazing-
exciting after
Yeah.
they bang in that car. It is a
I
pretty
believe you
exciting movie
guys.
after that.
That
It really picks up.
that along with episode 1 are up there with movies I walked out of. I walked out of that movie fucking.
Oh, what?
45 minutes
Titanic's
in.
fucking racist now too?
No, it was unwatchable. It was boring. It was terrible.
Starring Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley, Michael Biehn as Dwayne Hicks, Paul Reiser as Carter Burke, one of the greatest villains ever.
Oh yeah, I love Paul Reiser.
Because
in
he's
this
a
movie.
fucking capitalist villain. Those are
Oh
the best.
hell yeah, man! He is
awesome.
Whew, he's
Uh,
such a yuppie.
Lance Henriksen
yuppie.
as Bishop, who awesomely comes back as, what's his name? Wayland in Alien versus Predator, which I fucking love.
Mhm.
I know it's trash, but
It
oh my
is.
God, I love it. Carrie Henn as Newt, who I learned from researching this, never acted again in her fucking life.
Nope.
Just never wanted to do
That was it.
One and
That was
done.
it.
One
One
and
and
done.
done.
Well, they
Probably
fucking killed
really
her in the-
traumatic.
They fucking killed her in the next movies.
Yeah, true. We also have Private First Class Hudson, played by Bill Paxton, probably my favorite character in the whole damn thing because
Game over, man.
he's just got the
Game
best
over.
lines.
He does have the best line.
One of the few movies that is universally accepted as being a sequel that is better than the first installment. That's definitely arguable with this, but Empire Strikes Back, Godfather 2, both Toy Story movies, are better than the first one. It won Oscars for both sound effects and best visual effects, of course.
That makes
Of
sense.
course. Yeah.
To me,
Beautiful
and
movie.
this is where I'll end it and throw it to Eli. To me, the primary theme here is motherhood. How we're all products of powerful matriarchal instinct that ensured our survival. But in Aliens, Ripley is the one doing the protecting, and the Queen is the one who needs protecting. I think in terms of, being a mother, those are two sort of important things, within societies. But yeah, I got some other notes, but I'm going to throw it to Eli. Eli, Aliens. I know this is like maybe not your favorite movie. I think that's still Goodfellas.
It's one of them. It's probably
But yeah.
top 5.
But it's up there, yeah.
This was one of my favorite movie-going experiences of my life. I saw this in '86. I was in New York at the time.
Oh gosh.
We saw it in some, hood ass, uptown Manhattan theater.
Nice.
Packed, hype crowd, motherfuckers ready to kill each other in the theater, talking shit. Hype ass crowd, cheering, laughing. I did not want this movie to end. I was having such a good time. had so much fun watching this movie that I like I said, it was one of the best movie going experiences that I've ever had. And yeah, I was a fan of the first movie. I love the first movie.
Yeah, I like it. But
Love the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first movie fucked me up. The chest bursting scene.
Oh man,
I was
you
like,
don't see it
what,
coming.
7 years old when I saw that.
Oh gosh, yeah,
And
that'll totally fuck you
Freaked
up.
me out. I actually had like anxiety attacks after eating. I get a stomach ache, and I'm like, oh shit, it's
Oh,
no.
That's awesome. That's
So,
awesome.
Maybe sometimes it's little kids shouldn't watch R-rated movies sometimes. That's probably one of them,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love the first movie, and then this movie, the second movie, just blew the universe wide open, expanded on the storylines, expanded on the characters and the world and what the aliens can do.
That's really the biggest thing to me about this movie is how much more it is than the first movie is. I mean, like the first movie, the alien, you only see him for like maybe a couple minutes, and really when you do see him, it's just a guy standing still. But this one, you get the whole hive, you get the whole universe. Really, they explore the corporate structure of Weyland-Yutani a little bit.
That's my favorite aspect of the movie, I think, is the way capitalism and these big corporations are willing to do whatever they can to make more money.
Yeah. This is one of those movies like in my youth that I watched this and like RoboCop and like eventually Clockwork Orange.
Well, they live too.
They live, like Clockwork Orange. They live where I'm like, fuck the man. That's that punk rock attitude. Like, man, don't trust the man. And this is one of them. This is like the star of that for me is Carter Burke being this slimy, sleazy corporate asshole. Just out to make a profit.
Attempted murder.
Putting profits over people.
Yeah.
Which is totally relevant these days.
Well, all days. That never went away. That Reaganomics.
No, exactly.
Never went away.
This is 1986. They're definitely trying to put home that the welfare of our soldiers and the low people within corporate America are just things for the bottom line.
I mean, if you look at the guy they had, Corporal, whatever the fuck his name was.
Exactly.
Yeah, he only had one gig before this. They set them up to fail.
Yes.
The company set them up
to save dollars. Save dollars.
Yeah. It was all just insurance. They knew they weren't gonna that it was just gonna go there and be a big experiment, and it was a big setup, and they only sent Ripley to cover her ass and then basically silence her if anything did happen. So oh shit, someone's calling.
So another big part of this Ripley, there weren't a lot of female leads, especially in action movies. This, and she's the best, dude. I mean, you can rank her up there with Stallone and Schwarzenegger in terms of the level of action that this is.
Badassery,
dude.
Yeah, this was like, because this was the time of the 80s. We had Stallone doing Rambo and Schwarzenegger Commando and Chuck Norris movies and the one tough guy kicking ass. That was the 80s. That we had a slew of those flicks. But it was like one of the first movies, a mainstream movie where a woman was the action hero and she was kicking ass. I remember, again, back to that time when I saw this in the theater, that scene in the elevator where she's going down to find Newt and she's loading up her guns and taping the flamethrower to the rifle and then puts it over her shoulder. I remember the theater just went nuts. They cheered when she stood up in that badass pose, like theater went nuts, and that was like, I had never seen that before,
Yeah, just amazing. What else I got here? I mean, the alien creature reflects a range of cultural anxieties about motherhood and nature. I mean, do we want to get in about how everything is a sexual organ on all of the effects because of Geiger?
That's because of H.R. Geiger. That's exactly why.
It followed through. It carried through. I think
it does.
At least it
definitely carried.
Geiger wasn't attached to this. He was busy doing something else. He was contractually obligated to be doing something else at this time.
But yeah, the first movie, it's all about sexual violation.
Yeah.
The alien head is very phallic. The chest burster is very phallic. It basically penetrates you to be born. Even the egg, I mean, it's all about sexual violation, rape. The egg looks like a vagina that just forcibly attaches to the dude, to a guy's face. Male rape,
Yep. Yeah.
And that's kind of, it's all about like these phallic penetrating symbolism in the first movie.
Very much so. Very much so.
And in the second movie, it is about motherhood. So it's all about motherhood, the womb, going inside to the hive, everything going through the corridor, those birth canals, the fallopian tubes, and all that stuff. That's all symbolic in the second movie, the whole motherhood theme. And of course, the queen.
Yeah. But it's cool because those themes of motherhood and womanhood, inherent womanhood, is mirrored against this team of alpha males who go to do, and they're incompetent. They're fucking terrible. They're underprepared. They're underinformed. They just do terrible. Even the girl who's on the team is more butch than any other fucking dude on the team. She's the most badass dude on that team.
Vasquez?
Vasquez. Yeah.
And I think that's a compelling, thing that Cameron did there, was to play off that. I mean, does he just hate men? Is that what it is? Because, dude, if this movie would come out now, that's what these motherfuckers would say.
I mean, a lot
they
of the
hate
movie,
men. James Cameron hates men.
If you think about it, too, Ripley's character is rejecting sort of the gender norm. She is the badass character who does.
And from the beginning, too. She takes control of that whole fucking
movie. And, there is the parallel of the hive mother and her in terms of her rejecting everything that everyone has told her on how she's supposed to survive. I mean, it's a lot of it. I always saw the whole allegory of her and this sort of adopted child who calls her mother at the end, and her not being a normal mother. She takes care of everybody around her, and she's the woman who saves all of the men, rejecting the queen and literally beating her ass, doing a job that you watch a man do at the beginning.
Exactly. They make a big deal about that. What can you do when she wants to run the loader?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's a man's gig. They have no faith in her. They give her no credit. And you're right. Using that same appliance, because basically that's what it is. That was this
badass appliance.
It's a badass appliance. Yeah.
But,
you're
it's
right.
metaphorical because it's a construction tool, especially in the 80s. In terms of toxic masculinity, machismo is running rampant. And when you think of construction workers, especially in the 80s, you think of we talked about They Live earlier on this podcast.
Sure.
You think of these big burly dudes using badass construction equipment. And here we are in this future where this woman uses this badass construction equipment to literally kill a queen that's being protected by her children.
Yeah.
What is not more metaphorical for the feminist story with Ripley than her literally using a man's tool to beat this bitch's ass and to save all of the men in the end?
I 100%.
They were all die. They were all dead.
Yeah, they all die in the end.
Except
spoiler alert.
Well, what's his name makes it?
So he doesn't. Yeah.
Hicks lived.
Yeah, Hicks
Yeah,
lived.
kind of.
Yeah. Hey, at least he didn't get killed this time. Like he did in Terminator.
Well, and speaking of that, in Aliens, there's this nature female versus technology male dichotomy, going on. And Cameron uses that over and over and over again. He used it in Avatar, for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There's also a hint of it in Terminator 2. Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor gives that whole speech where she's like, women create life, but men just make machines that destroy it. And there's a lot of that going on in Aliens, despite the fact that at one point Ripley's like, we just need to nuke the whole place from orbit.
Yeah.
Because she's
not wrong. She's not
wrong, but playing off of those themes, the nature female versus the technology male is, I don't know. It's compelling to me. Oh, look, here we go.
Here we go.
All
right. I'm here. Yep, here we go. Oh, let me turn myself down.
We're already live, Leroy. There must have been a line at the grocer.
It's COVID and everybody, social distancing. So, yeah. I'm just here because I want to know what Eli has to say about the movie. I know he has a 2-hour breakdown of this movie. So I want to
he's
know.
already done it. He's been.
Yeah, you missed it.
No.
man.
This is Eli. He's only scratched the surface.
I'm anxious to know because in the lead up to this, Leroy had not seen a movie for 15 fucking years. It's the 90s or something.
It was playing in the background. Well, that's 2000s, man.
I know.
Where the
I
fuck
know.
have you been?
Well, whatever. You hadn't seen this since The Office was on the air.
Right.
What did you think of the movie? What did you?
I liked it. Like I said, this is the last time I watched it. It was playing in the background. I was doing something else, so it was just kind of just there. Watching it for the first, honestly, I feel like I was watching for the first time last night when I watched it. So it was like new to me watching this movie. Awesome movie. I was thinking like, damn, why don't they make movies like this anymore? You know, that's what I was thinking.
They definitely don't make movies like this anymore.
Did you find it woke as fuck?
That's the thing,
dude. Are you telling me?
No, that's the thing. Okay, it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's only there if you notice it.
Are you telling me that if this movie came out today, right, and just this construction worker, she was a minor, you know, that was her job, outdoes all of these alpha males. I mean, even Vasquez, even the girl is an alpha male on this team of Marines. If this movie came out today, people would hate this fucking movie.
Here's my thing. I think people wouldn't hate this movie until there's an article that comes out about it.
Well, you know that's going to happen.
Yeah, or a YouTube video to come out and hate the movie. Until then, people just watch me like, you know what? I should hate this movie. You know?
Yeah, the ratings that Boogie Bentley chimed in. Yeah, the ratings are so low. We got
Sweeps week. It's Sweeps week.
It's Sweeps week. Thanks for hanging out, Boog. I appreciate it.
So that's my whole thing about it. But it was there because, like I said, when I watched this movie 15, 20, 30 years ago, none of that stuff ever, jumped out at me. But when I watched it last night, I'm like, oh, shit, it's there. It's definitely there. Yeah. Like, I don't know how far you guys have gotten into it so far, but I'm definitely seeing all the stuff I didn't see when it first came out.
Well, go ahead.
It did come to my mind, like, if this movie came out right now, because how different is this from Terminator Genesis?
Yeah. Very different.
But here's the thing. There is no specific dialogue to just pointedly look at the camera and say, hey, this is what we're doing. They never do that in this movie, where I feel like they did in Terminator Genesis and every other movie where they specifically look at the camera and tell you, men ain't shit. This movie's about women. Go on with, they never do that. Even though I feel like
the subtlety is gone, is what you're saying. The subtlety in cinema is gone.
That's exactly what's going on. Yeah.
The art is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because back then, like I said, I saw this in the theater, and they made a big deal out of Sigourney Weaver being the next big action star. And from what I remember, I don't remember hearing a lot of people bitching about it. Even the men embraced it. Yeah, I mean, even the dudes that I knew thought she was badass. You know what I mean? They didn't complain about her being a woman. They didn't complain about her tits being too small. They didn't complain about, the motherhood and the feminist ideas. No, this is a badass chick who can kick ass. Cool. Just like Scarlett from G.I. Joe. What's the big fucking deal? 40 years later.
Or Kill Bill.
Or Kill Bill.
Yeah. What else?
Now, to play devil's advocate, so basically what you're saying is that we don't have a problem with strong female protagonists.
Only when other people tell us to. Only when someone's like, yeah, fuck that bitch. She's right. Who's up? Somebody say something.
I was going to say, to be fair, in the geek community, we kind of never had a problem with strong female characters. I mean, we've had Wonder Woman since the damn 40s.
And Jean Grey since the early...
Jean Grey, Invisible Woman, Scarlet Witch. I mean, name it. Most of the Marvel female characters are some of the most powerful.
On the X-Men, the female...
definitely on the X-Men. Storm is a freaking god.
Yeah.
Whenever I play a video game, I always choose the female characters because I like looking at my ass, So.
That's why Tomb Raider is a thing. Yeah.
To be fair, one of my favorite video game franchises of all time is Metroid.
Yeah,
and
but we didn't know. We didn't know until the very end.
That was a plot twist.
You're right. Yeah, that was a big spoiler.
I beat the game, and
dude, if Metroid came out nowadays, IGN would be like halfway through the Metroid review, best game ever. Got to the end. This game is the worst shit ever.
SJW agenda.
Oh, I know. I know.
But all right, we brought this up just before you came on. There's this the theme of nature female versus technology male, going on through Aliens.
And James Cameron, the writer-director, uses that repeatedly. Avatar, we definitely see it. Terminator 2, with Linda Hamilton's character, Sarah Connor, definitely says, she has this whole fucking speech about women create life and men just blah, blah, blah.
Like breaking shit, yeah.
Yeah. Because those movies were Avatar wasn't well received, but it wasn't hated on because of that theme. I just don't know what happened to movies. I don't know why Rey is such a divisive character.
We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
Well, next week we're going to Star Wars. What other movie can I bring up where there's been a female lead?
Captain Marvel.
That movie sucked though.
No, you mean that
wasn't her fault.
bitch about it?
Well, no, we're not gonna bitch about it. That's what I'm saying, because if we could go that, we don't want to go down that road. Yeah. That's the thing, because that is a rabbit hole.
It is a rabbit hole.
It is a rabbit hole.
Yeah, because whenever there is diversity now, there seems to be a backlash against that diversity. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what seems to be happening these days. Even though
because it's shoving your face in it's shoving your face and it's advertised. Yeah, like they advertise it as that.
Look at Robert Rodriguez movies, Machete and the Desperado movies. It's all Hispanic and Mexican folk. No one gave a shit. No one gave a shit. Even though those are inherently Latinos and Mexican culture and all that shit is in those movies. No one bitches about it,
You know why? And I'm going to say this right now as a brown person, is because it's mainstream now. See, the thing with Aliens and the thing with a lot of the movies we've talked about, the thing with strong female characters and diversity as it's always existed in geek culture, whether in comic books, video games, TV shows, movies, is that it's always been subculture. It's never been mainstream. It's always been allowed. Horror is one of the biggest, and that it's always been allowed to be diverse because it's not mainstream. And because it's never been per se mainstream, we've kind of always gotten away with this intense diversity and these feminist plots and the way to actually humanize everybody. It's why Star Trek has always been the way it is because it's a subculture. It's never been mainstream.
What about the new Halloween movie, where there's a direct female lead who is the protagonist?
Nobody had a problem with the Halloween.
Nobody had a problem with it.
Yeah,
because the original Halloween movie.
Horror movies have a tradition of having female leads.
I was just gonna say the original Halloween movie has a strong female lead.
But that's the slasher genre, the final.
Yeah, it's always been that way. The first Friday the 13th.
Ripley was the final girl from Alien.
So Alien was a horror movie traditionally. Right. Aliens is an action movie. Yeah, but you're taking the character. Yeah. Exactly. So to be fair, as I said before, these movies were never per se mainstream the way they're taken now. Yes, there would be a violent outlash if this movie came out now. Yes, thank you. But the reason
Scream is also a slasher.
It's a slasher movie. Yeah.
It's a slasher movie. Yeah. And the reason is because it was not mainstream. It was always intended to be. Action movies in general are never per se mainstream. They're always sort of this subculture movie because they're not going to be taken seriously.
But back then they were mainstream. I mean,
in the 80s they were.
I mean, you can't get more mainstream than Aliens. Yeah,
it's true. It's true. But this movie took off.
Spielberg was making all kinds of movies about aliens.
Sigourney Weaver was nominated for an Oscar for this movie.
For
Best Actress. Yeah.
So it's just a weird thing because it was so accepted back then, but for nowadays, I don't know.
We didn't have internet, basically.
Yeah, we didn't have internet.
We didn't have internet.
Hey, believe it or not, I'm sure just as many people were upset. But the thing is,
they didn't have a platform to.
They didn't have the platform to bitch about it the way they do now. Critics have always accepted these things for the most part.
Yeah.
They're never against diversity or feminism or smart plots, but everybody else is.
But like I said, I saw the original run, and I don't remember anybody.
You were also
really
in New York, bro.
About it.
You were in New York.
I was in New York too.
That's a difference. That's a much more diverse place than say here in Nashville in 1986.
I would say just a feeling of this movie. It felt like Sigourney Weaver kicking ass sold this movie.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Totally. Totally. There's no way you get through this movie without wanting her to kick ass.
She was on the cover of Time that year, I believe, or one of them big, magazines that year, because this was such a big deal. It like the idea of this female action star was such a cool idea at the time that everyone did embrace it. You know.
Right, and this is the area of the muscle movies. Stallone,
Yeah.
you know, Schwarzenegger, you know.
Sigourney Weaver's a fucking toothpick in this.
Yeah,
Right? But she kicks more ass than all of them.
Yeah,
In a more believable way, too.
Vasquez is
very
the
believable
swole one.
way.
She's all swole and buff
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, Vasquez is more alpha male than every other motherfucking dude on this team.
I'm surprised. You know what? That actually get the movie canceled more than anything else. Vasquez.
Really?
Vasquez would definitely. Are you kidding me? A Hispanic girl who's literally more buff than most of the men and calls somebody a pendejo?
She's not Hispanic. She's not Hispanic.
No, she's a white girl.
She's Jewish, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the foster parents in Terminator 2? The mom and the stepmom?
Oh,
that was her. That was her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was one of the redneck vampires in Near Dark.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I did not know
they
that.
literally brown faced her in the movie. So if anything, that probably
that
would not fly. No,
that would not fly
now. Know that. And now I'm pissed. Now this movie's canceled. We can't even talk about it anymore.
Like I looked up on IMDb, her last name was Goldstein. I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Maybe she was adopted. What else do we have on this movie? Because honestly, I know we kind of veered away from talking about aliens and talked more about the sort of the de-evolution of the female action star. But I think that's the more important thing to talk about, man. Because if anything, this should have solidified the place of women as being able to carry an action movie. And even up to now, it's like if there's a woman in an action movie, people hate it before they even see the fucking trailer, dude. I mean, you can bring up Captain Marvel, but Captain Marvel was just a bad movie. I don't think that was, the
was part to it, right?
They hated on that shit just because,
But yeah, here's the thing: they hated on it because the thing is, they didn't have the platform back then. But also, like when you have something like Aliens, which is probably one of the best examples of a strong female lead in an action movie, that sets a standard.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's been 40 fucking years.
Right.
How is Alien still the standard we don't say that about any of the other action movies from the 80s. I mean, we say that they're great, but we wouldn't.
They're not the standard anymore, though.
Exactly.
Movies have evolved.
Newer films,
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, the industry as a whole is male dominated.
Yeah.
And to be fair, what came next was the 90s, which is some of the most macho, ridiculous sets of movies ever created. And they produced and directed movies for dudes to be brutal. They did everything to make. You got to think about the 90s was extreme and brutal.
Sure.
And so they just didn't see women as being extreme and brutal. They made women cruder, much more degraded characters. And
we're supposed to be woke now, man. We're supposed to be above all that shit now. I don't know. It seems like we've devolved into the point where you can't even really do that. Black Widow, man, is that going to be the movie?
No, everybody loves Black Widow. That's the thing. When Black Widow comes out, everybody's going to love that.
I know.
You say that, but at the same time, here's the thing. Terrible, awful men on the internet will do everything to tear down anything.
I don't know, though. See,
I don't know because a lot of these other movies, they were tearing them down before they even came out. They were like, Captain Marvel, they were ready. They were foaming at the mouth ready to tear this movie apart.
Yeah, they really
For
were.
the most part, Black Widow hasn't received any of that, man. If anything, people were bitching at Captain Marvel because it jumped the line in front of Black Widow.
Sure.
That's true. That's true.
Well, that's also because Brie Larson talked a lot of shit that pissed off all the pussy ass, male pussies and shit.
It's true,
That's
man.
true.
If Sigourney Weaver would have had a platform, they would have canceled her before the movie even came out.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is funny because she's so like a pacifist and like anti-gun and shit, and like donates to like gun control campaigns and shit. But here she is kicking hella mad ass, with the rocket launcher and a machine gun.
And universally beloved. I don't ever hear anybody talking shit on Sigourney Weaver. How can you talk shit on the chick from Ghostbusters? What?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But this. Here's the thing, though, about Aliens that we're going to talk about is that sometimes they let in one and that's it.
Oh,
right. That is true. It wasn't like it brought in a stream of female action movies.
Yeah, it's like Freddie Mercury and Rock. You get one. You get one. You let one in. You hate the rest, but you let one by, and you say because you let that one in, Everything
pat yourself
else
on the back, right?
You pat yourself on the back.
Yourself on the back, you're good to go. Not
Hitting
really.
all the right keys.
In all fairness, they see this movie and they think, oh, this is awesome. But it's also part of nostalgia because they do remember that weak character she was in the first movie. They allow themselves to say, hey, you know what? I do love this movie. And no one else is as good as this character or is as good as Sigourney Weaver. And therefore, I got one. I'm not a sexist because I love this movie. Therefore,
I got a black friend.
Exactly.
Saying, I got a black friend.
Aliens is the I have a black friend.
Wow.
Action. Female.
Let me play devil's advocate again.
Play it.
I love devil's advocate again. Okay, so like I said,
this.
we got Sigourney Weaver. We saw her be the victim in the first movie.
Yes.
And the whole movie is about her, becoming the victor, to becoming. What if we didn't see that and she just came in this movie just kicking ass from the beginning?
Oh,
she's the best at everything. She can't be. She's just bossing everybody around. No, I'm in charge now. And we didn't see her as weak as she was in the first movie.
That was brought up in the chat in another context. Black Widow has a solid rep because she's been a main character in a Marvel movie. You're right. If they just threw Captain Marvel at us without any,
I was just gonna say this is the point. Is
same thing with T'Challa, really, and Black Panther. Oh, here he is in Civil War. Now we'll give him his own movie.
I mean, Black Widow has literally been around since Iron Man 2. She's probably been in some of. I think she has the most extensive MCU record now.
And plus, we like Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson is a likable, actress. So.
Well,
but to be fair,
but to bring back what I was saying,
aliens work.
To bring back what I'm saying, like
you need the
we saw her broken down in Alien, built up to be this badass in Aliens. But if she just came up to be just a badass that could do everything and had no flaws, no weakness whatsoever, we would hate her like Rey. That's why I was trying to bring it back.
I'm actually going to agree with this in that I think
I agree as well.
I think Rey's the illest.
I
also bigger than Luke. Luke Skywalker is the biggest fucking Mary Sue in the whole franchise.
Luke Skywalker is not a Mary Sue. He's the exact opposite of a Mary Sue. We want to talk about this. We want to go there. We want to go there. Let's go there. Let's go there.
We're gonna save this for next week.
Luke Skywalker was a farmer in the desert, and he literally flew an F-16 to destroy a war planet.
He shot Wampa rats in fucking.
Oh, bullshit. In between picking up power converters at Tosche Station. Bullshit.
Luke Skywalker destroying the Death Star is more believable than Anakin Skywalker destroying whatever the fuck the Trade Federation has.
Anakin Skywalker was a Mary Sue in
and he is. Oh, he's a Mary Sue for the entire trilogy he has.
Anakin's a bitch of all time.
Yes. Rey is better. Rey is better than Anakin and Luke. Yeah. By far as a character.
Let's talk about aliens, motherfucker.
But let's talk about aliens.
Right, Eli, Eli, I finally understand what your shirt means. Yeah, I've never understood what your shirt means before. Because I just watched the movie. Now I get it. Like, oh, that's what that means.
Oh, that's awesome.
We can definitely talk more about aliens. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about aliens. Yeah. How cool the fucking movie is.
The movie's fucking awesome. The movie's fucking awesome. And it's so dope because we had aliens, because we watched her grow. I mean, at the beginning of the movie, she's literally surviving PTSD and trauma from the first movie. Right. In fact, that's what makes her so badass is at the end of the movie, after literally going through the first movie and all that trauma, literally overcoming that and being the baddest ass character in the entire fucking movie, filled with Marines who literally were armed tooth and nail to take these motherfuckers out. And she's like, no, bitch, I've been through this shit. I've got this. And literally fucking makes it through the whole movie, pulling that half-fucking android, that child, and that half-dead Marine into the spaceship and says, fuck it, that's it, it's over.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but also the tension of this movie.
Yes.
The horror element.
Oh, the horror element's amazing.
The reason why the movie is so scary is because those Marines get taken out like that. The whole squad, except for
it all happens really fast. Yeah.
The whole build up. I mean, and I want to get into the whole director's cut versus theatrical cut later. But the build up until when they finally go into the scene where they go into the hive, and then you find out, oh shit, we're under a nuclear reactor, we can't fucking shoot, and then all the fucking you see the aliens in the background moving around, and you're like, oh, they're all fucked. I mean, like I said, my heart was like, I was like 12 years old, almost had a heart attack.
Yeah.
It does a great job of building tension throughout the whole thing. Like the way they used the detector to detect the alien, the way it makes the noise.
Right.
Yeah.
That gets me every time. I know where they are. I know what's gonna happen, but I'm just like, oh shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
the
like,
lab
scene,
when
there's this one scene where they have these two like turrets that are just sitting there shooting aliens and slowly counting down the ammo. And you're like, oh man, are they gonna run out of it or are they not?
That is in the director's cut.
That's not in the
I don't remember that scene.
That's not in the regular cut of the movie.
No,
but yeah, game over, man. Game over. You know,
game over, man.
Yeah, that you see Hudson, who like starts out he's talking shit. He's this macho prick, you know, and then you see him turn into like the biggest pussy. There's put her in charge, and you know, but that's the thing. Like you see these Marines, these tough dudes just crumble, and then Ripley ends up taking charge because, as you said, she's dealt with this before. You know, even Gorman, the squad leader, he freezes and she takes over the fucking.
He's a bitch though, anyway.
Yeah. She's like, do something, and she just jumps in the driver's seat and goes in and saves saves the.
And that's that training versus experience theme. I think they were trying to do.
Well, I think it's the instinct, man. The whole thing is about motherhood, you know, and I think that's kind of her.
That's what she's doing. She's
just being a mom.
I mean, did we say that that's kind of like the alien queen is kind of like the dark mirror of her?
Yes.
Like say she's the mama bear over here, the alien queen.
Right.
I started with that.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver's spending the whole movie trying to save people, whereas the alien queen is spending the whole movie sending her kids out to.
And not only that.
They're both protecting their young. That's exactly what they're doing. It's just
like even when Ripley comes into the last scene with the flamethrower and the alien's about to attack Ripley, the queen tells everybody to get back, you know, because they don't want. She don't know what Ripley's about to do, so she's trying to protect her own hive. So it was, you know.
Well, there's not only that too, but there's, like you said, the dark mirror of how Ripley is protecting her people, but in terms of the alien, you know, the xenomorph, you know, queen, her children are actually protecting her more, I think, than
It's very much that you know, it's the 80s, and 80s was all about breaking norms, and the queen follows the norm. She is a mother. Her children do everything for her. The males do all the stuff.
Traditional,
She's a traditional, you know.
Queen. She's a fucking queen.
She's a fucking queen. You know, she's the nature. She's what happens within nature. She's how it's supposed to be. And everything about Ripley is rejecting the norm. She's this bad bitch that survived that all these corporate guys refuse to listen to, refuse to believe her. And yet she fucking saves everybody in the end anyway. She literally rejects what everyone's trying to tell her the entire fucking movie and fucking saves everybody in the end.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is the Xenomorph's home planet. So who are the aliens?
It's really not, but
it's really not.
Oh, well, I'm just saying.
They were both sort of dropped there.
Yeah, dropped there. Because in the first movie, they find a ship that the aliens were in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, man. Prometheus dropped him off there, man.
Yeah.
The life cycle of this alien requires, you know, it's just this invasive host. It's a parasite, and it's
a parasite,
species. And that's just the life cycle of this alien. It needs a living, you know, host to procreate. You know.
Yeah.
So,
do you want, Eli? You mentioned that you wanted to talk about the theatrical cut versus the director's cut.
Oh yeah. Watch it again.
Watch it.
I've watched it 3 times already this year, just because I knew we were doing this.
Yeah, I think this might be the one. See, that's the thing. I love the theatrical version. That's the one I saw. That's the one I fell in love with. There is things in the director's cut that I think should have been in the theatrical cut, but I still like the theatrical cut better because the director's cut takes way too long.
Better pacing. So.
Yeah,
there is a lot of preamble in the director's cut.
There's stuff in the director's, like they should have kept in the shit about Ripley's daughter dying. That should have been in there.
They should have kept that. I think they should have kept that machine gun scene in there.
Oh, the tension in that is so good.
Very good.
See, that's where I disagree. I think take that machine because that kind of takes away from the motion sensor scene when they're in the ceiling, you know. because I think that, and plus they reuse shots. They also reuse shots from the machine gun turret scene. You know. Also, I don't think the Hadley's Hope, as a fan, it's cool, but it's unnecessary.
It is unnecessary. You don't need to see the Newt's family in the beginning.
It's a lot more scarier. It's a lot more suspenseful to just go to this planet and no one's there, and you don't know what happened. You don't know what happened, and you don't see anybody except this one little girl. You know, instead of seeing, I think in the Hadley's Hope scene, I think James Cameron was trying to ape Ridley Scott and trying to showcase that alien craft from the first movie, but it's just in the background. Whereas in Ridley Scott's movie, it was like a center set piece. So,
Right.
And it's just not as, it just loses steam, you know? So I think the theatrical version just has a lot more tension and gets going. Like once we get into the hive, you know, it's a roller coaster after that.
Yeah. The legacy of this movie, obviously, you know, it's one of the best science fiction, action, and horror movies of all time. But what about the sequels that were just fucking terrible? The spin-offs with Alien and Predator, even Prometheus, which I enjoy watching, but I know it's just a big stinky pile of dog shit. It's just terrible.
What about Covenant? Should I bother with Covenant? I never seen it.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not
Let's not go there.
I like the sequels, but that's just me. You know,
You like Alien?
I like Resurrection.
I can watch all of them. I enjoy all of them for what they are.
Yeah.
I know
will say
Resurrection is
that
a
both of them
bad
are not.
movie, but it's an entertaining bad movie. So I
It's
just
an
watch it.
Resurrection's an entertaining bad movie.
Your boy wrote it. Your boy wrote it.
Joss Whedon, right?
Yeah.
My boy.
And to be 3 was directed by David Fincher. That's his first movie.
He does not claim that movie.
He does not claim it though.
Exactly. He doesn't even claim that movie. Dude.
But it is his first movie.
The Resurrection is probably the closest movie that actually tries to deal with the stuff that happened in the comics. So that's why I like Resurrection.
Sure.
And then
It's got a lot of weird, wonky ideas in it that I like, but
That's
my favorite. That's
Not
my
great.
favorite legacy of this entire franchise is the comics. I think I've had more fun in the Aliens comics than I have outside of anything besides this movie, Aliens. I like Alien, but man, those comics, some of those are just fantastic.
Well, let's talk about the legacy of this movie launched the comics. The first comic books that Dark Horse did were direct sequels to this movie, which had Ripley and Grown Up Nude and Hicks and all that shit in there. You know, until they made Alien 3, and then they changed it. They changed character names and all that shit. But you know, But I saw Alien 3 on acid, so I loved it. So.
That
probably made that movie a lot better.
If you were watching this show on acid, you'd be wildly entertained.
There's a lot. There's a lot of like shit that you can tell that
interesting choice, Thomas.
It worked.
It worked. Yeah, right.
From that. That's a whole exercise in how the studio fucks up shit. So but if there is a director's cut of Alien 3 that is better than
it is better.
Yeah. It is better. It is also holier than thou.
Well, yeah.
Man, it's almost too much. I mean,
Rock in there preaching. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
With the dude from the movie or from the TV show Rock? That guy?
Oh, yeah, he was in everything in the 90s.
He was in everything in the 90s.
The movie had balls in killing off Ripley. You know?
Yeah, it did.
It did.
It was a bold choice.
It killed her off. And she was the savior of humans. She, again, going against
the Christ pose at the end.
Yep. She is the savior. It isn't Jesus. It's Ripley.
It was a great game.
Clutching the queen as she descends into the fire. You know.
Oh, that's so weird, dude. I'm sorry. It tries to humanize the xenomorphs in a way that I just can't appreciate at all, man. It's weird to me because they're doing experiments on them or what the fuck ever, and Ripley is like, I don't know.
What do you call it? You're talking about Resurrection? Yeah.
You're talking about Resurrection.
And since we're talking about, I think he was talking about video games, but since we're talking about video games, when I was watching this movie the whole time, it kept reminding me of Halo.
Oh,
there's so many Halo influence.
Halo
steals quite a bit from this.
Stolen.
I think all
it was so much shit in here that was like this.
Straight up xenomorphs.
The Elite, it's straight up xenomorphs that can talk and have armor.
Even the army sergeant, I was like,
the
damn,
the
idea of there being space marines.
Space Marines. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that
if
just
you
goes
ever
to count
played,
as much as of a prick James Cameron, I heard he is a genius as far as, this had soldiers with body cams,
yeah,
and all that, going in there and everyone, they were all hooked up. They all knew their like heart rate, so they all knew when everybody died, like when the one grenade goes off, you see like 4 of them flatline right away.
What a great way though to push a narrative, you know what I mean? To push a story forward in film, because I don't think those things were introduced in movies before then. Like, I mean, they use them all the time now. You know,
right.
people
But
have
you see this is where it first came from, right?
That first person camera view.
yeah.
But like,
and it was interesting how they did it. Like you can see like one camera while the other guy's getting chopped up. So like then it's got his name down at the bottom. Like
I mean, inventing a futuristic technology and then using it for storytelling in the movie, like the motion sensor. That thing doesn't exist in real life, but we totally know what it does, and we get what's going on, and we get that, oh shit, there's a bunch of aliens coming, and they're right outside the door, and we're freaking out and shit. Like I said, that ceiling scene, that's another like great one of my scares of my life as far as movies. Like when they're right outside the door, like no, they're not.
They're inside the
They're
room.
in the room.
Right.
They're in the room.
Yeah. And then they look up into the ceiling, and that reveal, like holy shit, when there's just a swarm of them in the ceiling, I just like
Yeah. Getting back, we're talking about just aliens again. There's like just this, like you said, it keeps building and building and building. It gets to the point where this is like the craziest fucking Jenga tower ever, man. The whole group is there waiting for Bishop to do his thing. And then Newt goes away. And then you think, okay, the movie's over. Ripley's just going to leave. She's like, no, fuck it. I'm going back for Newt. And you're like, oh, shit, she's going back for Newt. And then she gets Newt, and you're waiting on the ship. The ship comes, and you're like, okay, it's over.
It's over, yeah. They're on the ship.
up,
They're leaving
the
now.
place
And
And then there's this great jump scare where Bishop takes a tail right through the chest and ripped in half, and you're just like, holy shit. It's just adrenaline hit after adrenaline hit after adrenaline hit. They don't do movies like that anymore, man. They don't do it anymore.
And then on top of that,
it's wrapped around layers and layers of fan service.
Right.
You
And
know?
then on top of that, not only Ripley beat the alien because they planted seeds that she had this one skill that was going to work at the beginning of the movie, and they built it up to that.
Well, we talked about that earlier, Leroy, because in the context of this being like the woman over the man, all these alpha males, and just this one mother figure can take over everybody or, outdo everybody. At the beginning of the movie, when she shows off the fact that she can drive that thing, she's doing a man's job.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she beats this alien doing what, is
they even laugh
stereo.
at her.
They laugh at her because they can't believe she can do it.
Yeah. So that's just a great moment and a great little key.
But that was also a great reveal. Like I said, back to when I saw this in the theater first time, when she came up, the garage doors open and she's in that lifter, the crowd went fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And then she walks up right into frame, and the "get away from her, you bitch." The whole fucking thing. I mean,
one of the most timeless lines in history.
As far as like a crowd pleasing like movie, this is one of them. Like, this was like Endgame of '86.
Sure.
Sure. But I said I was having so much fun. I did not want to leave the movie theater because this movie was such a blast to watch.
That's
like
awesome.
I said, it just
Speaking
kept
of
going
Endgame,
and
there were
going.
some scenes ripped off in the Marvel movies from this movie. Yeah.
Oh, big time.
Oh yeah.
Peter Parker makes a joke out of it.
Right.
You ever seen them old movie Aliens?
But even the Hawkeye scene when he was in there running from the whatever
sure.
riders, that's right out of Alien. Yeah.
Sure,
And that's another thing is you got to know these characters, like you know Vasquez and Hudson and Hicks, and like so when they die, you actually feel for them. You know, like I still get like kind of chills when Vasquez bites it at the end because she was such a cool character.
Well,
But the way she did it, was so cool. Because she puts her hands on the grenade also letting you know, like, you have my consent to do this. Let's
she was so fucked. And then Gorman, who was a prick the whole time, goes back and dies with there. I mean, yeah, they went out like G's, and it's like, yeah, it was fucking dope.
It really is, dude.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like all the kids, like you got to know, like even Burke, by the end of the movie, he is such a piece of shit that yes, again, when he died, the crowd went nuts in the theater.
Cheering. Yes.
Cheered when he died.
But give it up to Paul Reiser, that look of fear in his face.
Oh,
you know,
so
that
good.
look of,
Paul Reiser
so
in this
good.
movie.
That scene
man.
too, when they're like, "Oh, you're fucking dog meat, pal."
Yes, yeah.
I say
love
we
that
grease
shit.
this Rex fuck son of a bitch right now.
Yes, dude. Yeah, that's
know.
awesome, man. The part where Hicks realizes that he's the one in charge now, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess I'm in command now." And
That's one of my best parts about.
Yeah.
One of my
Because
favorite
he's
things
not
about Hicks.
really in charge. That's the thing.
No,
but
yeah.
He does not want to be in charge at all. He
Not at
has
all.
no ambition about being in charge.
Yeah.
He was a grunt, like he said, a grunt.
Right.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, okay, everybody else is dead. Looks like I'm in command just for
Yes,
being
yes,
alive.
but even though he technically had the title, Ripley was still calling the shots. Yeah, he was
Straight
just
up,
repeating
what does
whatever
he
she was
say?
saying.
I was just gonna say that. What does he say though? Oh, I guess I'm in charge. Well, you know what we should do is get up on that ship and nuke this place. Literally, he
Right.
says exactly what she says.
Yeah, right.
Proving
So
to
she's
this
really in-
asshole that she's in charge and he
Right.
doesn't care.
The only way to be sure, he's
The only way to be sure.
Hicks is done when he's sleeping when they're going down on the
During the
fucking
drop,
thing,
yeah.
I love that
the
he
drop,
sleeps
and
through
he's
the whole
sleeping.
drop.
Did anybody see that meme when Infinity War came out? When they made a meme with Black Panther when he's like, increase the defenses, evacuate the city and get this man a shield, and somebody wake up
Wake up, Hicks. That's awesome.
Oh, it's genius.
Any final words on this just outstanding fucking movie? One of the best, man. One of the best.
Nah, just glad y'all made me watch it, I guess.
I will say we talked a lot about the themes of this movie, but I think that practically this movie does a lot really well. Just the creature features stuff in it, all the puppets and costumes and everything that goes on in this.
No
it's all
CGI.
top notch. Stan
No,
Winston,
it's all practical effects.
yeah, all practical.
I did see a matte painting, I think, in there.
There's
Yeah.
some
That's
map-
about it. But that was
when
big
they're
in the 80s,
outside,
so yeah.
when they're outside, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing the horizon and all that shit. I
But
think,
the models, and that's the thing is James Cameron was like a model maker. He was like worked with Roger. He was a model maker on
He
Escape from New York.
designed the Queen Alien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked on Escape from New York, so he had a knowledge of special effects and he knew how to shoot them. So that's why this movie works so well, is because he had this experience in shooting them and making it work in the context of building suspense.
Yeah.
And
Like,
all that.
and he's a great artist too. Like in Titanic, when Jack was drawing Rose, that was his picture.
Oh,
Like, that
wow,
was his
really?
drawing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That fucking old bitch. I hate that lady. Great storyteller, just mean old lady. So what else? Any other final words before we wrap? This
One thing I will say about this movie that so many movies lack these days is pacing and use of exposition. You go a whole hour without seeing a real xenomorph. Yeah, you see the chest burst at the beginning of the movie, but that's of course is a dream sequence. But if you watch the theatrical cut, you go an entire hour halfway through this movie before you see real xenomorph.
Would that fly today?
Oh, absolutely not. People's attention span could not take that these days.
See, I don't
That's
know if
what
that's
makes
true,
this
man.
a
I don't think
classical.
Hollywood gives the audience the credit they deserve. I think that is the fucking problem.
No,
If this movie came out
the
today, I think
internet
people-
doesn't give
except for
audience
Jewish
the credit it
fast
deserves.
kids. Okay, we got to get a
I've
Latinx.
watched this movie with younger people who've never seen it before, and they were still thoroughly entertained.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So-
That's because, and I'm going to put over this movie the fact that it paces itself really well.
Yeah.
It gives you that jump scare. It gets you invested in the characters.
Yeah,
The
and that's why-
dialogue does a really great job of expounding on everybody around, so you feel invested in each new character introduced. So that way, when you lose them, you feel the loss.
Yeah, and that's why I prefer the theatrical version versus the director's cut, because the director's cut just adds so much more time onto
Yeah.
like the beginning, of the movie. Because I mean, just that whole buildup. I mean, you get the exposition. You find, especially during that meeting when she meets with the board of directors, and you find out the events that happen. You get caught up, but it's still in a way that it furthers the character, and you find out what she's going through. And they basically, what did she say in the movie? They throw her to the dogs, or throw her to the.
Oh yeah, they threw her to the wolves.
Yeah,
they threw her to the wolves, and then they asked her to go get the shit done.
Yeah, and again, to fight her PTSD, she's having nightmares. She wakes up from a nightmare, then decides to call Burke.
Because at first she said no. She said no, she wasn't going to do it.
She said no.
Because she was scared to go down there.
Yeah, and she's like, we're going to wipe them out, right? We're not studying them?
Yeah.
So again,
fucking liar, Burke.
Corporate greed.
Corporate America lying to you. Try to get that dollar. Try to fuck you in the end.
Another theme that James Cameron kind of tackles is corporate asshole greedy.
Corporate America is not your friend.
No, does not care about you. Does not care about lives. It only cares about the bottom line.
Yeah, and sacrificing lives to make that money.
And I mean, that's Avatar. That's Terminator 2 as well. There's a company that's involved in all that. So.
Hell, that's Titanic.
In fact,
it is Titanic.
Yeah, that is Titanic.
There's definitely classism, all over Titanic.
What's funny is like they had these hope scene that's in the director's cut of Aliens is actually made it into Terminator 2 because they say, "Oh, I asked about that once." You know what they said? Don't ask.
Yeah. Sure.
So he used that scene for Terminator, but it's the same general idea that corporate greedy assholes suck.
It's true. It's true.
Xenomorph Queen is a Disney princess now.
I mean, technically, yeah.
On that, we'll wrap. Yes, that's Ripley. Thanks everybody for hanging out. It's always a good time. Leroy's got the pick for the next Geekterion Collection coming up in February.
It's Black History Month, so the movie's gonna be black as fuck. So just letting you know whatever it is. I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
I'm hoping for Purple Rain.
Damn, that's a good. That didn't even cross my mind. That didn't even cross my mind.
Color purple. Color purple.
Ooh,
that's Spielberg. Yep.
That is Spielberg. That is Spielberg.
So we'll have that up sometime next month. We'll be doing that. We also have top five Star Wars movies dropping next week, next Tuesday, probably about the same time. It's already, man. In the pre-show, it got
heated.
It got
real quick.
It's been getting heated.
Now you see why we banned it on the show. Now you see why we banned it.
I know, right?
Not everything's Mandalorian. We wanted to do a Star Wars podcast. This asshole.
We basically found out that Gomer doesn't like Star Wars at all.
I don't.
What?
I know. I don't.
Oh
like
shit!
Star Wars. Oh, man, I know.
Don't even like Star Wars.
It's gonna be a fantastic show. Come back here on Sundays and Mondays. We do comic book shit. But hang out with the bullies at Monday at like fucking midnight, like Sunday into Monday. They're up real late. I can always tell when the show's getting to the end because Eli will be like a little bit.
Only when I'm talking. That's what
But this has been a great time. So thanks everybody for hanging out, and we're gonna do it again next time. Cool. I made an outro, an actual outro.